Now back to Just Energy Radio with Dr. Rita Louise.
Hello and welcome back to Just Energy Radio. I'm Dr. Rita Louise. Wasn't that first hour fun? And I know the second hour is going to be just as fun. But if you're enjoying the programming today, please do mark it as a favorite. And so, as I said earlier, we're going to announce the winner of last week's Mind Yoga question. And a little bit later on in the show, I will be asking this week's question. So last week it was kind of an easy one, but we do have a winner. So here's the question. On Friday, October 13th, under the orders of King Philip of France, leaders of this religious order were arrested and charged with a number of offenses, including idolatry, heresy, obscene rituals, financial corruption, and secrecy. And the answer to the question was the Knights Templar. And so the winner to last week's Mind Yoga question was Matt Stath from Crawfordville, Indiana. So congratulations, Matt. And please do keep entering the Mind Yoga question, and you can win a book. And this week, as I said, we're going to be giving away CE5. No, that's not even a 5. It's a V1. CE6, Close Encounters of a Possession Kind. But we'll be getting to that a little bit later on in the show. So let me introduce this guest. We're going to be talking with Kevin Randle about his new book, Crash, When UFOs Fall from the Sky. But let me tell you a little bit about Kevin and get him on the air. Kevin D. Randle has, for more than 35 years, studied the UFO phenomena in all of its various incarnations. Trained by the Army as a helicopter pilot, intelligence officer, and military policeman, and by the Air Force as both an intelligence officer and a public affairs officer, this provides Kevin with a keen insight into the operations and protocols of the military, their investigations into UFOs, and into phenomena that has puzzled people for more than a century. So please welcome to Just Energy Radio from www.kevinrandle.blogspot.com and the author of Crash, When UFOs Fall from the Sky, Kevin Randle. Hey, Kevin.
How you doing?
I am great. I'm just so excited to have you on. It was just wonderful talking to you earlier today, and it's all good.
And did Nick do a good job before me?
He did great. He told me to tell you he said hi, and that he'll see you in Denver.
Yes, he will.
So what's going on? I didn't even bring that up on the air. What conference is going on in Denver for you guys?
This is the big MUFON symposium that they hold once a year. And it's got a whole host of experts in various fields who will be presenting their papers, and an opportunity to talk to the investigators, the researchers, and look at what they've been doing. So everybody gets together and kind of talks about UFOs for 3 or 4 days.
So are there presentations, and are you one of the presenters, or is it just more of a meeting kind of thing?
There is a whole raft of presentations that we who are presenting submitted papers. I think we had to have them by May 15th so they could publish the proceedings. So you can buy what our papers are in the proceedings, and then we present those papers live and in person and in full color during the symposium, so that everybody that's interested in UFOs has an opportunity to see what direction research is going. What Nick Redfern will be talking about. Don Schmidt's going to be there talking about Roswell, of course. I'll be there talking about Len Stringfield and how he kind of opened the door to the crash retrieval that we now talk about frequently. So there's Kathleen Marsden's going to be there talking about abduction research. She's the niece of Betty Hill, who, of course, is one of the first people to claim to be abducted. And so everybody kind of shows up. You have an opportunity to interact with everybody and see what the direction the research is going, see where everybody wants to do and where everybody's interest is. So it's a good time.
And this is open to the public?
Absolutely. If you go to the MUFON website, which is cleverly, if you type in Google and type in MUFON, you go to that, and on the top of the page it says Symposium. You click on that, and it tells you about the symposium and how to get there and who all's going to speak, and I think now they've got up a schedule of events, so you can see what the events are. And in fact, on Thursday, what they do is they hold their investigators workshops, and so that people who would like to become MUFON field investigators, or people who've been field investigators and want to update their knowledge, they meet for the first day on Thursday and are trained in that, and then starting on Friday, the presenters show up with the first presentations, and you have an opportunity to see what all is going on. So the schedule's up now on the MUFON website as well.
I mean, not that this is related to our topic today, but I don't think that people in general realize how in the UFO community there really is protocol that MUFON puts out as far as how to conduct an investigation, how to do the research, collect evidence, which is, I mean, I hate to say this, but more advanced than what happens in the ghost hunting community, even though I think they're using it kind of as a model as to how they approach an investigation.
Yeah, well, if you go back to the history of UFO research, you'll find that APRO, which was the Aerial Phenomena Research Organization started by Carl Lorenzen started in, I think, 1952, and QFOS, which is the organization started by J. Allen Hynek, the Center for UFO Studies, had developed protocols for their field investigations. And MUFON has taken that work and expanded on it and improved upon it, and so that you know how to gather the information. You know what kind of equipment to take into the field, so you can gather whatever data you need to gather. So it's a very good thing to do, and it moves UFO research more into a scientific arena. And I think if we're going to solve the problems, which means answers the questions about what are UFOs, and it's a multiplicity of answers. It's not a single answer. There's a multiplicity of answers. But I think if we're going to advance on that, this is the kind of thing we need to do. We need to move our methodology more closer to the scientific methodology, which in theory is an unbiased way of gathering and interpreting the data. And so that's where MUFON is making great strides.
And I think there are a lot of people that are interested in UFOs but don't really know how they can become involved or participate in an investigation, because it's not like people are going to be calling you up and going, hey, a UFO landed in my front yard and can you come investigate? I mean, unless you are somehow tied or connected to a group that way.
And again, if you go to the MUFON website, it tells you how to become a member. There's a search engine that you want to find a MUFON organization, a local organization in your hometown. It directs you right there and tells you who the state directors are in the various states. And for some people, like if you live in Delaware or Rhode Island, it's probably easy to find the state director. But if you're in Texas or Alaska, it's probably a much more complex problem given the great distances involved there. But it gives you everything you need to kind of get in contact with MUFON and find out who's doing what in your local area. So if you're interested in doing that, there's also another great research on that website, or a great research tool, I should say. And what they've done is they've put up all the MUFON journals going back into 1968, which was, at that point, it was Skylook. So you've got all of this information that you can get to from the MUFON website. So if you were interested in a sighting that took place like in 1976, and you knew something was published about it, you can look at all the MUFON journals for 1976 and see if you could find information about that sighting. And how this helped me, which leads me right back into my book brilliantly, is I was looking for some information on Robert Willingham, who had first told his story in 1968 about a UFO crash near Del Rio, Texas. And I wanted to compare what he said in 1968 with what he was saying today, or when I talked to him 6 months ago. And I found the resource online, the MUFON Journal, and it allowed me to type in his name, and it brought up the place he appears in the journal, and it's from the February-March issue of the 1968 on page 3. There's a thing about